Well, we do have a lot of reports of miracle workers in ancient religion, but there's a lot of differences when we're talking about quality of the claim. For example, the vast majority of reports of this sort from the ancient world truly does come from figures that we would call mythological. I mean, you're talking about people like Dumuzi and Inanna and Venus and Astarte and Isis and Osiris in various parts of the Mediterranean world. But nobody would make the claim that, say, Hercules actually lived in space and time. So one huge difference is comparing a non-historical figure to an historical figure. As far as formal similarity is concerned, there are very few formal similarities to any of the miracles in the New Testament, for example. And there are far, far more differences. But to me, here's the most significant single factor. Let's just take the resurrection of Jesus, for example. And people just sort of throw this around. They'll say, well, we have gods and goddesses in the ancient world who were raised from the dead, don't we? And you say, you have to be specific and say, well, whom do you have in mind? And what's the gap? Because except for Isis and Osiris, which, as one scholar pointed out, as many scholars have pointed out, is not really in a resurrection account at all, we have no ancient story which predates the resurrection of Jesus. The earliest mystery gods we have, who were taught to have been raised from the dead, and again in mythology, not actual historical persons, but they post-take Christianity by 100 years. The next closest example is 200 years. So, I mean, I'm not making the claim that these folks copied off Christianity, but what you have here is you don't have these parallels before Christ. And so that's a huge difference. Not historical, very few formal similarities, a lot of differences, and the time gap is really lacking in these ancient mythological accounts.